answer what I have taught him. Anyway, I just want to go through the. Now, I don't have to go through the nanotechnology because most people have discussed the size and so the people can visualize what is the nano. And nanotechnology, you know that everybody talks about less than 100 nanometers and everything. So I just have the pin head is about 1 million nano, and your blood cell is about 2500 nanometers. So this is just give you the, and if you take a 1 meter stick and cut into billion pieces, each piece is a 1 nanometer. So that's the comparison wise. Now, why you need a nanotechnology for construction industry? One of the things you have to realize as an engineer, you are used to look at the micro and macro levels. You look at the stress, crack development, and these are all macro level. But all deterioration of the construction material occurs at nano level. So you have to understand what is the structure of the and why it happens at nano level. And this is the, and then it grows and eventually it becomes micro and then it becomes a macro. Chemical reaction occurs in concrete, which are very, very bad or very deteriorating, such as ASR, alkali silica reaction, carbonation, and corrosion. These are all occurs at nano level. And that's why you have to have a nano solutions. Understanding material structure at nano level only provides solution for preventing deterioration. And this is what initially I'm going to give you some idea. What are these different, I'm going to concentrate mostly on the corrosion, how corrosion occurs and what can be done to prevent it. Now you all familiar, the corrosion is a part of every structure because almost 99% structures are built with the concrete or plaster. And you can see that the big high-rise building, deterioration, and then the bridges and highways, they are all the concrete made. And concrete repairs are very expensive. And you can see that these are also structures which are like most vulnerable are those who comes in contact with the salty water. Carbonation, the bridge structures where you have a pillar, it undergoes wet and dry cycle very easily. Every time water drops, it dries it, and then it refurbishes with oxygen. And oxygen and water, they both are responsible for corrosion. So you have to look at that every structure where there is a contact of water and wet and drying cycle occurs, then corrosion is definitely going to occur. Corrosion is a very expensive process. If you have to repair it, 1 square meter can cost you up to 5 to 10K. So you have to get the preventive measures in order to reduce or longer life of the concrete structures. So you don't have these expenses. And another big thing, by neglecting corrosion, you can have a disasters. This year, it happened in Miami. Miami is a coastal city. And corrosion was neglected. 12-story building collapsed completely within a time of minutes. 150 people were killed. And a lot of loss of life, not only that, also loss of properties. And then since then, Miami has checked all the buildings and their identify about 50 buildings has a potential corrosion problem. In Minneapolis, about 10 years ago, that whole bridge collapsed because highway, they did not look at the corrosion on the slab. And that was all of a sudden, the whole bridge was collapsed. I have driven on this bridge. I was there in Minneapolis about 15 years ago. I have driven on this bridge. This is a very key bridge. And in India, some of the things are every day. You can hear in Calcutta and Bombay, the coastal cities, there is one building always collapse. The reason is we are neglecting the maintenance, mainly corrosion. Corrosion, because the whole building structure strength is based on those rebars. And if a rebar corroded, it generates a cracks, lose the strength, and then eventually it collapses. Same thing in India also, the bridges. This railway bridge is there are 3 bridges. One is in Calcutta, one is in Bombay. And one is in Bombay train track. It's collapsed. There is no other reason. These are all corrosion related. And I think we have to keep eye on corrosion and to find out how we can prevent the corrosion. I will show you some of the measures we're taking. They are not adequate. So you have to look for better solutions. Now, corrosion is a reverse reaction. Usually you take the iron ore, combine with carbon, and you generate iron. And then iron we utilize. But when we are exposed to salt and water, it go back to iron ore. So this is and thermodynamically, iron oxide is more stable than iron itself. So that's why it always has a tendency to become a iron ore, no matter what kind of steel you have. But only thing you can do is to prevent or delay the action, so you don't lose the strength. Now, as I mentioned, that corrosion occurs at nano level. Now, these are the nano chemistry I have just put it. And chloride migration. See, in a coastal area, if there is a rain, rain is not pure water. It comes from ocean. It has droplets which are filled with the sodium chloride. Ocean concentration is close to 5%. So you are bringing chloride on the building structures. If building is not exposed, chloride will migrate through the concrete. Carbonation is a natural process. But if we are a polluted city, carbonation will accelerate because carbon dioxide dissolves in water, forms and this is the chemistry I have seen. I will go through the details about this chemistry. But what my point is that everything occurs at nano level. This is the concrete structure. Where I want to show you, corrosion is an electrochemical process. If you look at the iron, loses electrons, and those electrons are taken by the oxygen. And oxygen gains electrons, so oxygen is reduced, iron is oxidized. See, this oxidation reaction creates a cathode and anode. And normal concrete is a non-conductive. It cannot transfer electron very easily. You have to have wetting, so the concrete becomes conductive. So this conduction transfer electrons from iron to oxygen. If you keep concrete dry, this process will not occur. So that's why very important. that you have to make a concrete waterproof. So it cannot ingress any moisture. The water is the key to keep it out to prevent corrosion. And this is one of the reasons the corrosion occurs because of the water. This chemistry is a natural chemistry. You cannot stop it. But if you remove one of the ingredients, then you can prevent this. The another problem, you know that iron, when you buy iron bar, rebar, they are brownish color. It has already oxidized state on the surface. And this is called passivation layer. This passivation layer, it protects the steel bar. So that's why many under dry condition never undergoes this depassivation or removal of the chloride. And the concrete structure lasts much more, 50, 60, 70 years without problem. But when you have a polluted area, also you have a coastal area where water comes with the chloride. And this chloride chemically reacts with that passivation layer. And it exposes the steel, and it creates a new surface. So the oxidation process starts on the chloride level. So that's what happens. Now, if you look at the chemistry wise, this is the chemistry, you don't have to go through, but important points about these equations, that water is essential part to chloride to interact with the passivation layer or iron oxide layer. And you can look at the equation. The chlorine participate in the reaction and then it comes out, chloride. So chloride never utilized in corrosion process. It's just to catalyze the reaction. So the worst part of the chlorine is not, it starts at one place and then it's continuous going through. So the chloride acts as is a worst enemy, and that's why we have a standard how much chloride you should have in a concrete or how much should I, but sometimes you don't have a choice. You use sand, sea sand, which is full of chloride. So that's why our building structure collapses. So you have to make sure the chloride is a big enemy to make a corrosion possible. And this is the standard. Federal Highway Department, United States has made a standard that chloride and hydroxyl groups ratio should be between 2.5 and 6. Maybe all civil engineers understand that. And also, the pH of the concrete should remain under basic conditions. But there are natural reactions where calcium hydroxide reacts with carbon dioxide directly without water and forms a calcium carbonate. And that's why the pH is above is because of the calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide gives you the lower pH of oxygen, of the concrete. But when it reacts with carbon dioxide, then pH starts dropping. And I think many civil engineers, they look at how much carbonation occurs. You are putting a phenolphthalein and phenolphthalein color fades away. That indicates that calcium hydroxide is gone. And also calcium hydroxide is one of the byproduct of the concrete when concrete cures. So calcium carbonate is a chalk stick, has no strength. So that's why you're losing the strength. But you have to remember this natural process, calcium hydroxide and carbon dioxide reaction. If you don't do anything with your concrete, it will last 100 years. It will take 100 years to get a fully converted into calcium carbonate. So it's not a very fast process, but it can accelerate if water gets in, so water dissolve carbonic acid and carbonic acid reacts very fast. So this is the reason the concrete carbonation also you can control by not allowing water in concrete. Now, before I discuss how nanotechnology helps in, so I want to give you brief on the organosilane chemistry. Now, organosilane is a bifunctional molecule. It has a X3, which is reactive or hydrolyzable group, and this is organic group. Now, silicon, this bond is a very strong, relatively strong bond. This X group is very easily reactive to water. So this molecule has a duality. I would give you example is a marriage maker between inorganic material which can react with this substance, and this could be a functional group. I will give you this functional group can react with organic matter. So what it does is a matchmaker between inorganic and organic. And this is the reason in last 50, 60 years, a lot of composite material came because of organosilane. And this organosilane works only between the interface between inorganic and organic. That's why it requires very small amount. And that's the reason the silane molecule is a very effective, because it always works on a nano level. Now you look at this. This is the one of the example I'm giving you. This is organosilane with the Y functional group. Y could be amino group, acid group, hydroxyl group, epoxy group, or any other kind. And these could be hydroxyl group or methoxy, ethoxy, which is easily reacted with the inorganic material. And this molecule, there are 50 different kind of organosilane molecules available. This is a vinyl functional groups. And this molecule became very important for a wire and cable industry, where mostly cable are made of PVC, but PVC doesn't have a resistance. It can get hot, and a lot of Indian building, they have electrical short circuit. That's no every other reason. A simple PVC wire gets hot and then catch fire. So how can you prevent that? So the wires, if you are insulated, and then usually it is insulated with the clay. Clay is a completely dielectric. It doesn't have any conductivity. So that's why the heat will not generate. So that's why the most wire and cable in Delhi, I think it is essential. You have to have all the wires insulated. And this is the technology used, I know, for last 20 years in some part of India. So how organosilane reacts? What is the chemistry behind it? See, organosilane, as I mentioned, this alkoxy group reacts with water instantly. And then it forms a hydroxyl group. See this hydroxyl group? And this hydroxyl group undergo intercondensation. So it can react with each other molecule and forms a dimer, trimer, tetramer, and onwards. Important thing is that it has these hydroxyl reactive groups. And then this is a functional group it carries with it. So when you have a substrate which has a hydroxyl group, like this substrate, this could be a glass fiber, or it could be a sand, or it can be soil. What it does, this oligomer will react with it. And you will see that. And after reaction, it forms a firm chemical bond. Now, what happened to my, okay. So now, what happens that once you have treated this one and the water is completely removed, then you have a permanent bond. Now, this substrate does not have hydroxyl group. Now it has a R group. And R group could be hydrophobic group, it could be reactive group. So you can mix with other material and it can become a reactive site. And this is the fundamental of organosilane molecules, that it has a dual reactivity. Now, if R group, if you keep it as alkyl group, long chain alkyl or short chain alkyl, that will make a surface completely hydrophobic. And so the silane molecule will modify the structure and you can impart a functional group. Now, polymer has, if you take any polymer, may have a same kind of reactivity with this group. So you are forming a chemical bond against this. If you mix polymer with, let's say, sand or silica, there will be phase separation because there is no, there will be some addition, but there is no chemical bond. By imparting the functionality because of silane, you are making that polymer completely chemical bonded with this one. So this is one of the tests they do, is a boiling test and measure the tensile strength of the composite material, and they will see without and with, there's significant difference. That's another talk I can give about the composite material. So this is the way reaction occurs. You have a polymer, or you have a silane. This is another silane, which is alkyl silane. Alkyl silane can react, it forms a, and then it reacts, and it forms a mini umbrella on the top of the concrete or inorganic substrate. And this is the one which will make as a hydrophobic surface. I just want to tell you that I'm very happy that I was able to bring silane nanotechnology in India. I was a pioneer bringing that. Initially, I worked for Zydex, and what you heard with Dr. Ranka, it is all developed by me. And I'm happy to be part of that. And now the business is grown very high. But I want to give you some idea what other area. This is all area I have worked in United States. One is how silane is used in a different area. I gave you example, this tire. This is called green tire. In United States, some cars gets the tire and they say that you don't have to replace the tire for life. It is guaranteed for 1 million miles. Even in India, we see this lot of difference in last 10 years. That tire are now given 60 to 70,000 kilometers. Before it was 30 to 40,000. What made it different is a silane molecule. In a green, the rubber composite material is mixed with the silica to give you some abrasion resistance. So they use about 10 to 15% silica and replace with the rubber. Rubber is replaced with this silica and it gives you the strength. Now that's why the tire life is expected much higher. In United States, all the tires are made with this one. And that's why we can get 100,000 miles. So that is 160 kilometers, 160,000 kilometer guarantee. And that will eventually occur here. This is the insulation, glass fiber. The sizing agent is a silane used. which I mentioned about the cable, wire and cable, where insulation is done by. This is the plastic composite. This is not made of metal or anything. The plastic is mixed with the glass fiber, and that makes it this very strong material and light in terms of. Lot of automobile parts nowadays is the front fender and everything is made of the plastic, and that is only possible because of the silent coupling agent. So you can mix inorganic material with organic. Inorganic gives you the strength, organic molecule gives you the flexibility. So the combination of those two are the composite material. Now this tire which I mentioned, the tire, the cap is a plastic made, but it looks like a very heavy in terms of not breakable. And this rubber belt is made with the silica and the silent molecule with the rubber. So you get a much more strength. And there are a lot of electronic components are made with the silent. This is the glass size glass fiber, and this is the I lost the. Okay, this is a fiberglass tank, and it is compound with the silent material, because in this case also you have a silica fibers and the polymer is mixed, and the coupling agent is silent. This is dental implants. If you look at the lot of and then that also requires silent molecules. And I don't know whether in India it's possible, but sometimes then doctor puts a putty, then goes outside and then mixes some mix and then fill it up, and it solidifies. And that solidification occurs with the silent reactive molecule. Then this is the roof structures. This is the fiberglass made from this wind panel. So these are all silent based products. Silent is not only for waterproofing. Silent is used for lot of applications. So this is some example I gave you. Now this is why silent, how silent is used very small. This is Coca-Cola bottle. We have developed product while I was in Ragusa, that the label on a Coca-Cola bottle used to be a sticking with the paper, but now they wanted something completely printable. So you have to change the surface of this bottle so you can print it. And we have made a product known as a hydrosil, and we can coat it and we can print it, and then you can wash with 1,000 times without fading the label. But for us, for Coca-Cola is a great thing, but for us, no business, because 0.25 kg silent can make 1 million bottle. But that's such a small amount required in order to change the surface characteristic. This is same way suntan lotion use only 0.01 silent, and then this adhesive and sealant make a waterproof only 0.1% silent. So there is a application which are required very small amount. Now this may be interesting because this was my favorite project in the United States. This was a space shuttle. Space shuttle has a tiles underneath the shuttle. This is a shuttle, and underneath there is a tiles. And these tiles is made of corrugated silica underneath here. And this is excellent in terms of thermal insulation. You can heat it one side 2,500 degrees centigrade. Other side you can touch it. But the problem is this tiles. When this space shuttle is put on a launch pad for ready it absorbs a lot of water. It can gain water such that each tiles can create 100 grams. And that one will increase the payload by 9 tons. And that's a very expensive for any space shuttle. So you have to waterproof. Now NASA has given us a guideline. Okay, waterproofing should be at a nano level, not only that. But when this space shuttle comes back from the ocean, when it enters into atmosphere, there is a lot of friction. The temperature can go up to 1500 degrees centigrade. So the byproduct of your coating or whatever the modification, it should not generate the product which affect the electronics of the cycle. So they have evaluated about 40 products. And one of the product was select was ours. And I have manufactured this product in our plant for 25 years. And it goes into the shuttle. The shuttle program is over by 2008. Even I was in India, I had to go to make this product in United States. So this is one of the unique application of the silane. Even it's a small amount, but it has a very large impact. Now, this slide, you may have seen it in Dr. Ranka's presentation because it's made by me. So it's obviously, and now, if you look at how organosilane works, now we are talking about only the waterproofing aspect of organosilane. Now, most inorganic material, which you will see, the sand, clay, soil, they all have a hydroxyl group on the surface. I'm talking about nano level. If you take one soil particle, it is a 40 or 50 micron size, to make it a nano level, you have to cut down into 1,000-fold again. So that will make a nano, because you are looking at a micron. Okay. Now what happens? The silane molecule will react, which I showed you before. They react with this hydroxyl group, and it forms this chemical bonded surface. And that's only 2.5 nanometers. Now what it does, it changes the surface chemistry. Now, interestingly, the silane molecule, this reaction occurs at room temperature. Only requirement is that the byproduct of this silane bond formation, the byproduct is water. So that water has to go out, otherwise it will remain hydroxyl group. So to remove the water, sometimes you leave it there in a sunlight and it will dry. It will evaporate and eventually you will see the effect. So this is the one of the things you have to think, that you have to eventually dry the surface where you do this one. So now what happens? You have created mini umbrella over the surface. So when you dissolve chloride or water, anything you comes, it will not allow getting, because this is such a strong hydrophobic forces. Let me give you one more thing you should know. Why water absorbs in a concrete? Anybody thought about it? Why it doesn't, when you put a water droplet on a wood, it doesn't go right away inside, or in a glass surface, it doesn't go right. The reason for water to absorb in the inorganic material, see, water droplet always remains as a droplet, round, because of the surface tension. So anything to interact with water droplet, it has to overcome this surface tension. So when water droplet falls on an inorganic material, where you have a hydroxyl group on the surface, it interacts, because water has a hydroxyl group, this has a hydroxyl group. So it will form a weaker hydrogen bonding between the water droplet and the surface. And these one release some energy. Whenever there is a bond formation, it will release energy. And this energy is enough to break down water droplet into small particles. And that's why the water absorbs. So this is very important, you have to know. Now, if you change the surface where there is no interaction like hydroxyl group with the water droplet, then it will become a hydrophobic. So fundamentally, this is the reason why water does not get into the treated surface. Now, why water is a problem? Naturally damaged mineral building material are caused by water. Water dissolves a pollutant, penetrate porous mineral material via capillary force. Chloride dissolves in water are transported into capillary pores. Concrete and steel reinforcement, where they can cause several corrosion. Prevention of capillary suction in porous mineral building material. This is very important. That's what you want to try to do. Water is a transport media for chemical which cause deterioration of the building material. Leaky building, water washes out component of the mineral binders. Water is the single common denominator for all chemical reactions leading to corrosion. This is a very important statement, that without water, none of the reaction will occur. Even if you have a pollution, there are a lot of pollutant in the air, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and they all form as a form of acid rain. And acid rain reacts with this concrete or stone. Even if you look at our 300 old monuments, they deteriorate in last 50 years because of the acid rain. So you have to protect everything from, so that's why the water is a very key to reduce this. And mold growth, our building, Indian building, you build in and after 5 years, it becomes ugly buildings because of rain and then the fungus formation, fungus dies and cause the blackness. So the corrosion, our typical way of corrosion is a lot of mechanical matter where you coat the, and nowadays we have epoxy coated steel bar. And worst case is a stainless steel, but there is nothing guarantee that it will not cause the corrosion. Coating concrete surface, UV light, everything can break down those things. Even if you use epoxy coating on the steel bar, if there is a defects in that one, the water will try to get in and then corrosion start inside and you never know it because you have assurance that, oh, it's epoxy, so it will not. So you have to have a method where you are assured that nothing will happen to it. Electrochemical method, we are using chloride ion extraction, cathodic protection, chemical method where we can use the oxidize and reducing agent. The electrical method, what we use is a galvanized steel. So you can sacrifice, you can put another metal over it and sacrifice it. Like in a boat, the ship is coated with the zinc-rich paint. In that one, steel is not corroded, but whatever happened, the tin oxidized first. So that's why it's a zinc-rich paint. So zinc is a very common. In that one is also, that paint is also used silent material. So, and you can see that the coating breaks down in a sunlight. And you will see that structure is still remain porous. After a small part goes, and then water size, if you look at a water droplet, size is 100, maybe 2,000, 100,000 nanometers. And the pore structure is in the neighborhood of 4,000 or 5,000 nanometers. So water droplet, and because of the interaction between the surface, it can easily get into that. So that's why the corrosion, even though if you have a very dense concrete, you cannot remove that water sensitivity of the concrete, of the bare concrete. And most of our structure, if you look at the highways and bridges and overpass, they are all concrete, unpainted. They are always exposed to the water. And eventually they're going to get a corrosion. So these are the inorganic and the cathodic inhibition, anodic and mixed corrosion inhibitors are used to prevent or delay corrosion. It never eliminates. So this is, you probably know the reason. And even if you put a current, reverse current, so you don't oxidize the iron, it's very expensive. Only you can afford to do it in a very expensive structures where you don't want any corrosion and there is a safety involved in it. So what is required? Required is a, not only you can, like this corrosion additives or corrosion prevention, what the current you use, it doesn't work with the chloride or carbonation. So you have to work with the technology which will give you the chloride as well as a carbonation induced corrosion. Effective in a high humidity environment. Most changes electrical property of the steel and concrete. Must change electrical properties of the steel and concrete. Long service life. Effective on concrete with micro cracks. Now, one of the things all engineers require, that our rebar is about 5 centimeters deep. The important thing is the environment around that steel bar has to be completely dry. Then and then you can keep it, that steel bar, non-corroding, or it will not initiate corrosion. So now, silane, siloxane, silicone, these are all materials are used in the, which I already, mechanism is a change surface tension of the substrate. See, this is the concrete structure. It nano level, it changes the surface tension. And that's why it will not allowable. An important thing is, this is a breathable. Your pore structure does not affect, because this will change the only 10 angstrom or 1 to 5 nanometer surface. The pore structure may be 1,000, 2,000, and you are only changing about 1 to 2 nanometers. So it will not affect the breathability of the concrete structure. And sometimes breathability required because you have to let vapor to go out. One of the important thing is this waterproofing of the, which I will discuss later. Let me wait till I get that. Okay, what silane molecule does is such a small molecule. Here is shown is a 10 angstrom. It's a very small. Your pore structure is a 10,000 times more bigger. And so silane molecule can easily get into, penetrate inside. So it, even if there is a effect on the UV light and a surface, but it will not affect. If you look at it, if you have a 1 millimeter penetration, it is 10,000 nanometer layer. So if you look at each layer is 10 angstrom. So you have 100,000 layers before the water can go in. It has to pass through that one. So if you look at the, and there is no change in the surface porosity. That's what exactly this microgram shows that. Now, important thing is, no matter how careful you're making the concrete structure, there is always going to be cracks. And this crack could occur because of the drying and wetting and stress build up. So crack is always going to be a part of a concrete. So even if it is 0.5, 0.2 width, the water molecule is a 0.818 nanometers. And the water droplet is 100 nanometers. So this is much larger for water to get in. So it will get into very easily and it will go inside. And this is the reason that you have to have technology which will also work with the micro cracks. And one of the things you require is you need a penetration, because crack could be 0.5, 0.6, or maybe 1 centimeter deep. So if you don't have a 1 centimeter deep, then water can still migrate into this one. So you need a technology which can be a penetrating. And that's what our Degussa product used to be, a penetrating up to 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 10 centimeters. So that's a technology developed over last 60, 70 years. And this was my first project in the United States to bring this product to United States, the silane molecule for United States market. So there are a lot of tests you can carry to find out how much corrosion occur in your system. And one of the easiest one is to measure the corrosion potential. Now, if your concrete is porous and wet and porous, then your resistance will be low. Lower resistance means more negative potential. And that's the reason, that's a general criteria. If you have a very negative potential, then you have a corrosion potential. If you have a low minus, then your corrosion potential is less. And this is very simple technique, which I have used in LD engineering. My student graduated, Ashwin Sharma, about a few months ago. And we have established that the corrosion can be prevented. And this is a simple equipment which at Degussa we used to use it for testing our material. The ring effect, that means you have a cold joints, and cold joint is more vulnerable to the corrosion, and that's at that place you have to treat with silane, so you don't have a cold joint. That's another topic. I could discuss the construction practices and other things where you can use silane to prevent the cold joints and other things. So now this is the very large test we have done. Now, one of the things I have to mention, these are the surface treatment of the concrete structure, like existing structures, how to prevent the corrosion. So this was in Switzerland, and this was a pillar which we have taken that, and this is also, this pillar is a water. It goes not only in this is a cold place, so it goes to freeze throw cycle as well as a wet and dry cycle. So there is a most prone to corrosion. So they have selected two, and CIT used to be our product, is called corrosion inhibition technology. But it is mainly, I used to make this in our plant. So this is silane, but it's in a different form. So if you look at this, they are monitored for almost 2 years and to see what will happen. And CIT treatment, you can see that the current, I hope everybody understand what is corrosion current. Once you have a corrosion potential and you know the resistivity, you can measure, and then you can calculate the current. And this is the current. And you can see significant reduction in the current. So if you look at this one, after treatment, it is almost start reversing the corrosion. The current is indicative of corrosion. You have active corrosion, then it will continuous this. I will show you next few slides, will show you that. This is the garage. You can see that the average corrosion rate in 96 was this much. And then once we have applied CIT, you can see how reduced it becomes. It's almost non-existent. So that's why this garage lifestyle. And we have a lot of garage now, going through the water and everything, and then eventually it will break down. But if you treat it, you can prevent or you can prolong the life expectancy of this garage. So these kind of things has to be used in it, because these are a very dangerous place if it breaks down. Not only the building, because on the top you have a building, and that building will collapse. So now, one of the things we have looked at is the wet and dry cycle. That is the most deteriorating, and also that will corrosion. And you will see that it will go continuously top. But when you apply silane material, there is no water, so there is no reaction, there is no corrosion, there is no conductivity. Automatically, it will reduce the application. And this is the facts. These are, look at this, not done in 1 or 2 days. They have done over 400 days. So this kind of testing was done. And this is the alkyl silane, which I will explain you what is alkyl silane. This is the, again, wet and dry cycle. But you see that from the very beginning, there is no, now when material dries, then current drops. But when it's wetting, current will always go up. You can see that current is going up. But with the CIT, with the wet and dry cycle, there is no much difference. That means there is no corrosion. And these are done for a long 4 days measurement, because in 4 days that goes cycle. Now this is interesting. This is repair. See, most people think is, oh, okay, but once you repair and apply silane material in a repair work, you can reverse the deterioration of the structure with that one. Otherwise, if you don't do anything, eventually it will break down. So you have to look at your slab, you have to look at your bridge, you have to look at that, how to prevent further damaging. So silane molecule can do that. Now, as I mentioned, the United States, what we had, it was a solvent-based technology. So what was I think it was expensive. It has a VOC now, the regulation has changed. In India, it is not practical, flammability and volume. Initially, when I came 2003 from Dagusa to consult in India, MBT was a part of Dagusa. So I was to training, and they took me to do a lot of workplaces and see the people smokes and a job site, and there is no safety measures. So I say, I cannot introduce this solvent-based technology in India. Somebody can get hurt. But one of the important things about the solvent-based technology is that in a concrete, it can penetrate inside 1 centimeter, 2, I said a couple of centimeters very easily. So, but most of the things at that time, I wasn't thinking about the corrosion in India problem. But recently I have looked at it, that where silane can be used. And I see in India, there are a lot of buildings are corroded and collapsing, and the structures becoming so bad that people don't take care of that. So that's why I have to work on a another waterproofing material, which I thought maybe solvent-based will not feasible in India because of the flammability. So that's the first project I have developed in Zydex. That is the water-based silane. And that's why the whole technology came. I worked for Zydex almost 10 years, and I came up with these different molecules. And water-based silane, this is the first development in the world that there is no silane is used in water, because silane reacts with water, as I showed you chemistry. So I have made, and now this is the first generation, I have made a water-based silane for Zydex. But then I realized that there are some problems with the molecule I have chosen. So I have worked in last 4 or 5 years after left Zydex. And I come up with a better solution. I use the same alkyl silanes we use in Degussa and Dow Corning. This was a problem with the which is this is the molecule I use. The problem is the sunlight and water. It can break down within 2 years. So that's why the reason I choose not to use this molecule for waterproofing, because it will give you the wrong impression. So what I have done is selected only alkyl silane. Alkyl silane has been proven weatherability, UV light, everything for last 50, 60 years, because this product, I've been working with this product for almost 40 years, and Degussa, Dow Corning, Union Carbide, waterproofing, all products application are what I have done is to modify this alkyl silane to make a water soluble, water dispersible, or I made a emulsion. So this water can be used as a waterproofing. The surface waterproofing molecule is specific reactive with concrete and plaster. So I have developed 3 or 4 different products for each substrate, because each substrate is different. Concrete has a larger, you have sand, you have a cement, you have other ingredients. So I have kept eye on that one. Soil stabilization, you need to cover all the soil particles, because soil particle size is very small compared to concrete particle size. So you require a very effective molecule, which, and also soil is a different type of soil. You have 1,000 different type of soil. How can you make sure that one molecule will react with everyone? So I have to think about it. What kind of molecule will react with every silane under room temperature, under water dilution condition? So this was, I was able to do. Bitumen anti-stripping additive we have used in Zydex, but also I have developed additional modification of the same molecule. So now I have improved the bitumen stability. If you put in an emulsion, you have to have a stability for 3, 4, 5, or 7 days. You cannot have a molecule will react and it will precipitate out. So that is the one other important thing. And then last, about 2 years ago, I have worked on the integrated waterproofing. The reason for it, okay, in India, what we have introduced is a water-based technology. And the water-based technology, one of the drawback, I would say, is a penetration in a concrete, because what happens? The water takes it and it reacts right away with the concrete. And then it becomes a barrier for further going in. So your limitation of penetration is a 1 to 2 mm, maybe 3 mm if it is a porous structure. So you have very limited, and in order to get some material for concrete, for corrosion prevention, you need a more penetrative technology or solvent-based technology, or you have to come up with the new molecule. So this is what drive me to develop a molecule which will be good for mortar. Now, the reason what was the reason? Reduce water absorption. We have developed that. But one of the things I had to think about, that the concrete curing process, somebody is going to question me later. The concrete curing process is a hydration process. You have to allow water to migrate within the concrete. So the curing process occurs where calcium silicate, dicalcium silicate, tricalcium silicate form. And then that's why you have it 28 days. Or nowadays, fast acting cement, you do it in 14 days. But this is all required. So if you have a waterproofing material inside the concrete, it will hinder the curing process. So that's what I wanted to avoid. So that's why I chosen the molecule, the right geometry. So it will not act as a waterproof till the concrete is wet. And this is a very good achievement. I was able to do that. And if you do integral waterproofing, then I think you can bring the structure which is completely hydrophobic, not only integral and not only top surface, but also inside. And this is a very important for engineer to know that there are technology available. I mean, there are a lot admixtures which are say waterproofing admixture, but these are polymer structures. This is the reactive. Each and every concrete particles of the mortar, it reacted with silane. For when this mortar dries and forms a structure, then it will become a completely hydrophobic. So you can look at this, what it can impart: corrosion resistant, alkalicity react, acid rain, sulfate attack, fungus. In one molecule, one additive can prevent all those things. And that is a very important achievement. I have a next project. I'm going to study kinetics of ASR and acid rain, the ASR and carbonation, to find out how much you can delay this both. And this is my new student will come on those two subjects. So what AguaCrete, what we have developed, is an organosilane based. Say, I don't work with anything else. I always look at solution using organosilane. I have other area also I'm working on it, but organosilane based formulation chemically reacted to concrete components. That means it will react with each and every particle in internal. Water soluble or dispersible. I always say dispersible because when you try to make a water soluble, that means you have to have a functional group which is water sensitive. I didn't want that. So that's why I have put a dispersible. So that is not complete, but there are some affinity for water. But once it dries, the affinity is gone. Stable water solution for 48 hours. This is the limitation I have. Non-flammable, but you don't have to. See, this important thing is this. You take a small amount, 1.5 liter, and then you dissolve it in a 200 or 300 liter water, and then you mix with the concrete. So you can do it at a job site. So, and non-flammable, nano level waterproofing. And that's what important thing is, that concrete inside is waterproof. Now, and the reason for it is a similar size as the water molecule, penetrate into substrate, because this is really chemically bonded with substrate. Now, this is a different than admixture. This is a chemically bonded inside. Maintain water vapor permanent, and still it keeps the breathability, does not change appearance, will not break down or leach out because it does not go through very high temperature or anything. Excellent for surface subject to abrasion. Help keep building dry. Now, one of the things I should mention, which I had talked with a professor in IIT Gandhinagar, One of the things he mentioned, which was surprise to me, that when there is a fire and there are a lot of pillars, and if there are in Bombay or any other area, when it's saturated with water, when there is a fire, what will happen? If the water trapped inside the pillar, the fire will make the water molecule, liquid water to vapor instantly. And it changes from 1 gram to 1100 milliliter. So 1,000 times expansion of water. And that's why sometimes explosion occurs. So he says he wanted to, some critical structure he wanted to do, but then Corona came, so I could not interact with him. So now we will start again when Corona is goes. I think this is a very good way to test it. See that, and also it's a safety prevention, that the explosion can be prevented in a building. It doesn't happen everywhere, but when there is a lot of rain and the pillar is saturated in water, and then there is a problem. And resistant to alkalinity, chemical, biological degradation. So this is the concrete structure. If you look at that, it will react with each and every particle. I have seen in this way. It's a bonded concrete. The important thing is that it will not act as a waterproofing agent till it completely dries. The all water is evaporated. Otherwise, silent molecule will remain in a hydroxyl. Maybe one group or two group will attach, but the third group will not attach, and it will remain as a hydroxyl group. And as a result, it will not become a. And one of my concern was the tensile strength. And this is, we have measured, there is no difference between the control and with the up to 1% silent. And the other important thing is how much water we have put this block in water, and see how much water gain it happens because of the capillary suction. So you can see sorptivity, that's a capillary action. You see that it untreated, it's continuously absorb the water. And this is very important for the bridge or for the river or bridge pillar, where water goes and then dries. Water goes and dries. And this is the wet and drying cycle. You can remove it by just simple putting the bridge. So there is no absorption, there is no wet and dry cycle. You can eliminate wet and dry cycle. And this is the water absorption. Now, if you look at international standard, what do you call it? A waterproof surface. If you have water reduction, absorption reduction over 70% or 75%, then that substrate is completely waterproof. I could get a 85%. And this is not a simple test. It's 7 days immersion in water. And this is the compared to, if you look at the normal concrete will absorb 100%. This will absorb only 15%. This will about 22%. This is 25% absorption. So we have a significant reduction in water absorption. And this is only possible because of the integral waterproofing. If you do the surface waterproofing, you will not get this kind of results. And this is the test was done, my student at Ashwin Sharma at LD Engineering College. And this is the compressive state. And you can see there is no difference. And then it falls within with the silent molecule. And this is 28 days cure material. And then it falls within the parameters set up. So there is no compressive strength reduction. And this is very important. I wanted to gain, because any technology, if it reduces the strength, has no meaning. So this is one of the things. And this is my previous student also did the same study, and he also found the same thing. So now I'm confident that that the compressive strength will not change concrete characteristic, which is used for only thing, it will prevent the corrosion. And now the corrosion study, we have done it with a very simple instrument, and student didn't have enough time, so we had to squeeze it. So I have asked them to do the accelerated corrosion test. Now, accelerated with corrosion test, what you can do is to you impart the current in the concrete, and the concrete itself with the under wet condition, under sodium chloride solution, and the concrete will corrode very easily. And they have done it for 7 days, and in 7 days you see that this is a corroded concrete. And this instrument is a very easy to measure the corrosion potential. So you measure the corrosion potential, and then you measure after completely corroded, and then compare what happens with the control sample versus the silent sample. And you can see that the corrosion, this is actually minus, but this is, I just want representing. You can see that there is a significant, this is the extreme condition for corrosion, and still is reduced significantly. And this is a great achievement for corrosion. I want to do some kinetic study, but we need I need a PhD student who can do this study for a long period. For a master level, he has a very limited time and he has to finish it up. So, so this is the reason I have chosen the accelerator. But accelerator is just a very good indicative that you can prevent corrosion. So what is my conclusion? The new technology with silent, it can reduce over 75% the water. The important thing is that you have looked at it. The chemistry, I haven't discussed the ASR or carbonation in detail, but they all required water. So if you reduce the water by 75%, at least you can slow down all those reactions by 75%. If you just look at the equivalent. So your life expectancy, you can increase by double or triple. And that is a very important achievement. The curing process did not affect, which will indicate of the compressive strength. And also reduce other concrete deterioration reaction, chemical, as I mentioned, the ASR, carbonation, sulfate attack, acid. We have also tested this material at LD. I don't want to discuss all the results, but we have also looked at the sulfuric acid test and other required tests for the concrete. But I just wanted to highlight the corrosion, so that's why I only put the AquaKit reduce corrosion potential. With accelerate could reduce 50%. This condition extremely harsh with 5% sodium chloride and induced current. So this is the worst condition you can prevent. Reducing potential for disastrous collapse and structure due to corrosion. And this is the very important thing we can do. So we don't have a collapsed building. And even I haven't gone United States in last 2 years. Once I go, I will going to present this there, because this is a very important for all over the world. The reason is the most concrete structures are made, and the corrosion is one of the culprit in destroying this building. I think I have taken a lot of time. I hope I have enough, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have. And I have put down my email address and other things you can write down. You can write me. I will be happy to answer. I always love students to interact with this one, so they can question me, so I can get more ideas what to do certain things. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prakash Mehta sir, for a wonderful session. You gave us the insight and all intricacies of the corrosion and sealant and organosealant. Gave fundamental knowledge about how it reacts, not just surface waterproofing, but you get the glimpses of AquaKit, that is also. And we welcome you that we have our PhD program and students, so definitely we can collaboratively work, sir. So before we interact further, let us ask audience if they have any questions. So
If
it's
they don't have it, they understood everything what I said.
obviously, sir, because it was a wonderful, wonderful presentation. So if you have any curiosity or any question, please feel free to ask. This is a very rare opportunity where you can directly interact. So please take the advantage. Any of the participant. Oh. We wait for 1 minute for them to if they are shying or they are typing, maybe it will take some time. So my question is that how we microstructure study, how we can differentiate that, okay, this is treated one and this is untreated one. Can we visualize this thing, silane bond and microstructures?
Okay, good question. Anything you look at the nano, you cannot observe by eye. You have to feel it.
Okay.
And this is the only way you can put a water droplet on the surface, it will not absorb.
Correct, correct.
And other thing you can do is to immerse in a water, how much water it absorbs, treated and untreated. This is the only way you can check it.
Correct. And further, sir,
if you look at a microgram, I have done some, and you can look at the elemental analysis on the surface. But most concrete is a silicate base. So small amount of silicon organic group, you can see it, but it's a very difficult to look at it. And you are looking at a material. For example, I will give you 1 cubic meter of concrete will require maybe 10 gram of material to treat.
Oh.
So it's a very tremendous, and many engineer that question, how can you have a 10 gram material will have that much effect? So
Correct.
this is what nano material can do.
Right. Further, sir, you might be aware of this black cotton soil, which has a characteristic of swell and string. So hydrophobic is one thing that we can do, that is fine. But can we able to make that bond, which is there? I think montmorillonite mineral you might be aware of.
I see. I have a whole soil presentation, which I discussed this black cotton soil particularly, and I have shown that there are a number of ways you can do. Important thing is how to see black cotton soil as a particle size is very small, and that's why you have to have a right molecule to do the one I have developed for the soil. It definitely works. And I have, see what I do my test in the lab is always the word substrate.
Correct.
And most of my work is done on a black cotton soil. So there are a number of ways I have done stabilization using the fly ash, lime, and then cement, and the variable amount of cement. Now I'm doing another one. I want to use another cheaper way because cement becomes very expensive in most cases. If you have to use 7% cement in a small village, if you have to make a road, it becomes very expensive.
Correct.
So in next 2-3 months, I will come with the cheapest solution for the black cotton soil. And I think I will come to Marwadi University, but you can test it.
Yeah, sure, sir. We'll welcome you, sir.
I have a student, former Marwadi University, she's finishing PhD, Bhumika Patel. She has worked with the 7 different black cotton soil from Bhavnagar to different thing. And I think she has come up with a good solutions for that.
Correct. Okay. So any other further, sir? One more doubt. Whether
There are
this
three questions.
yeah, yeah. Uh, no, they are, sir. They are saying good morning, and there are link for the feedback. Let me check. Oh yeah, sorry. One is from Mir, Professor Mir. Can you elaborate about nano coatings to lessen the impact of a corrosive environment?
You can do it, but the problem is, no matter like if you use the nano silica or, but you are not removing the sensitivity of concrete with water. So if you have a ponding water, it will always ingress water into the concrete structure. It's a natural phenomena. So by using nano material, yeah, you will reduce, like for example, there are a lot of waterproofing material used, like one is a crystalline technology, they call it, where it's used in a basement. But if you use in a roof, is a problem, because the crystalline technology, what it does, it reduces the size of the pore. So you can reduce the penetration of water, but you are not completely eliminate. So that's why nanomaterial do the same thing. And what kind of nanomaterial you will look in? Nano silica. Nano silica will have the same sensitivity as water. You can close the pores, but you are still, because the water droplet, water molecule itself is a 0.1 nanometer. So you cannot remove completely. Did I answer question?
Me, sir. Okay.
Okay, there is a question about the various type of cement. Now, what is the difference between M32 and 42 and 52 and 63 cement? Do they change the composition? No. They change the particle size. So what happens, if you have a smaller particles, you will have a faster reaction curing process. But you also have to look at that the cement size is just reduced, but it also increase the other reactions like ASR, and the carbonation is also increases because of the surface area. You improving the surface area, you are imparting other reaction. So that with the M53 concrete will have a more cracks than the M43 and M32. So this is one of the phenomena. There is a professor, Mehta in California. He has written very good article to explain the cracking of the newer concrete or newer cement type. So he says, just be careful using that one. Corrosive atmosphere means you have a sulfuric acid. But as I explained in my talk, the corrosion occurs only with water. So if you eliminate water, even in a corrosion environment, the chemistry will not occur. You have to have a water in order to do the corrosion. It's an electrochemical process on a nano level.
Another question is, sir, can we use this compound along with plasticizer and super plasticizer?
These are the fancy names, super plasticizer. I mean, yes, it's a plasticizer. It helps to mix the concrete. It reduces or curing process or require less water and other things. it will not have effect on the silent molecule. And the percentage which I have written in my presentation, like for example, 0.5%, is 0.5% of the, not the concrete, is the how much cement you use, the 0.5% of the cement. So it's a very small amount material, but still it is 10 times more required than the actual particle size and the surface area, and consider the hydroxyl group and all other things. So you can use it, it doesn't make any difference. It will not have a adverse effect.
And do we require any special care? I mean, routinely we can mix with the water and we can apply.
You can mix with your mortar at the time of mixing, and just, I have done, it's a bad place to mention, Agua, this Agora in Baroda. They have made a 25,000 square feet. I have given them material, use it. And then they use the concrete on their 7th floor or something, but that floor has to go because of the, they didn't get the permit, or they did not take a permit. But the plaster I have done with this, this can be used in a plaster also.
Right.
So plaster becomes waterproof. Like if you have a retaining wall or any other things, there you can use it this one. I can see a lot of application in this one, but I'm not rush into the marketing this one, because I want to establish through the cement company, and they have to prove it that it works. And that's why I will be working in next 3-4 months with the cement company, and they have to do the testing. To go into the right away into market, it's a sometimes you will get a surprises. So that's why reason. See, my intention is to give a technology to India, and this is the reason I came to India. I left the Gusa very high position and decided to come India because I wanted to do something. Zydex has given me present platform. I want to thank him. But then also they asked me to leave once they got their product and their market and everything. It's a typical business person. I'm still continue going to do my research. This is my passion. This is the one area, civil engineering, but also I have other area I'm looking at, which will come in the market. I'm not looking at the market, but I want to solve the problem. If there is a problem, I looked at it, whether my silent molecule can help to solve that problem.
Correct. I think Professor Mir has one question. Professor Mir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
I already, my first question, it was answered. Sir, generally in India, if we talk about India, about the corrosion, it is generally known as corruption, corrosion, cancer. What are your comments on this?
I didn't follow the question. Could you please?
Sir, India में generally जो corrosion है, it is because of, generally known as a corruption, corrosion, cancer. Because it is generally in India, if we talk about India, it is because of use of substandard materials. So why then we can't have any control on it?
Well, if you look at, I always, when I looked at the developing the technology,
yeah,
I always looked at the building is going to make by the Gangaram. It's not going to be Mr. So engineer.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have to have a foolproof system.
Yeah.
So anybody can use it. That's why I'm saying a substandard material will not make any difference.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Provided
what I'm
this
saying
is,
that
yeah.
you have to have a technology which doesn't see one of the things when we develop product for the roads at Zydex, one of the things I looked at it that any village can use the technology or waterproofing product. any Jhupparpatti wala can make use of without any use of that scientific. You have to have a this, you have to have a this. And so you have to have a technology which can be used without using any elaborate requirement. And that is my goal all the time.
Of course, we can use technology provided we are sincere. Otherwise, even developing technology, we again use subsidiary things there. So the problem will remain as it is.
Right.
Timely, we may have some relief, but we need to have maintain a system, management
Well,
system.
that's another topic about the maintenance in India. We only paint the house when there is a wedding in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
So and I gave always example. Empire State Building was built in 1910. It's 120 years ago, 110 years ago. And if you go today, it looks exactly the same. It has used the concrete bricks and all other things. Why that building is still 10? It's a proper maintenance. I have seen a lot of places I have gone to in India with the roof. Even they have a tree grow on the roof. And nobody has visited that roof for many times. And these are the defects we have to leave. And that's why I'm thinking that we have to have a technology which doesn't matter whether you do maintenance, but certain things will never occur.
Okay, okay. Good, good. Thank you, sir. Very interesting presentation. Very
Thank you.
informative. Thank you.
Any other questions? I think all the answers I think are given, and I think there are no more further questions. So, Mehta sir, may I request you to please stop sharing your screen?
Yes. Stop.
You have to go to, yeah, it is.
Yeah, got it.
So, Professor Aditya Chaturvedi sir, you can please share the screen, and we want to thank Dr. Prakash Mehta sir. Really, sir, from bottom of our heart, we thank you because it was a wonderful session and you invested a lot of time, energy, and you share your expertise with us. So we thank you once again, and hope to see your cooperation in future also. Thank you very much, sir.
I'll be very happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you. So our next speaker is Professor Atindra Shukla sir, and we will start our session after 10 minutes of break. So I request all the participants to be here. Within 10 minutes of break, we will start the session. So you can have a cup of tea in between, and then at sharp 11:30 we'll start our session. So thank you all for joining us.
I'm already taking tea. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a beauty of online, sir. So you can continue with the tea.
I have to make mine.
2 in 1. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
will be there at 11:30.